Hello everybody, this is Taff coming at you with another Taff's Word. This is following our home game against Grimsby on Saturday. And yeah, great. Absolutely great to get the 3 points. Armand, obviously we paid a fee for him the first time in years. We paid a fee for a player. I mean, obviously I think Joe Day was the last one. Absolutely great to see him getting goals for us. That's 3 now. And he's obviously scored the winning goal in 2 home wins, which is really pleasing to see. Money well spent, to see it all paying off. So, also, we've kept 3 clean sheets at home. We've won 3 and drawn 1. So we're turning Rodney Parade into a real fortress at the moment, which, considering the last 2 seasons, where home form was the thing that let us down in the majority of games, we're at the point now where we're winning games at home and we're struggling a little away. Obviously, we got to start the season with 3 away games, and it was great how we responded to that. I mean, we won a cup game, we got to go to Leeds, and we made a good account of ourselves there. We drew 2 tough away games, Crewe and Stevenage, and then won Coventry somehow, because Coventry have now been the first team to beat Exeter, which is mad. Exeter are doing so well, and I still thought somehow they were going to end up with something out of Coventry, but, considering it goes to show the fine lines. We won 1-0 at Coventry, Exeter beat us 1-0 at their place, and then they went and lost at Coventry. It just goes to show very fine lines, as I say. Like I say, the defence is doing well. Joe Day is a confident goalkeeper now. He's keeping clean sheets. He's not really been at fault for any goals so far this season, so it's all really pleasing to see. The atmosphere is slowly coming back at Rodney Parade, although we would urge anybody watching this to not be shy, come stand with us and get involved, because we want to get the place rocking. That place should be absolutely bouncing at the moment. We got a lot of good, energetic young fans coming in and standing near us. If you're any of them people and you're watching this blog, feel free to come and stand with us and join us, and even offer your own ideas. Honestly, we just want to get the place bouncing, And like I said, obviously Armand scored the winning goal against his old club, which he did say he was going to do. He was going to upset them, and I think he did. To be honest, that first half was absolutely mad, though, wasn't it? How we didn't score at least 3 or 4 goals. I've never seen so many goal line clearances in one half of football. Even one full game of football, let alone one half of football. How many times do they clear that ball off that line? Just goes to show, they can dig to keep the ball out when they really need to. But when we're creating as many chances as what we did, something's got to give at some point. The whole siege mentality. I mean, if they're going to get defensive and hide behind their lines, then the more you throw at them, the more likely they are to buckle. And we threw it in the first half, and we couldn't get past. Second half, they came at us a little bit more and had their own spells of pressure, but never really threatened the goal as such. I think the number 20, I can't think of what his name is now, when he came on, he started causing problems. I was glad to get the game over with him on the pitch. But 1-0 is a result we'll take any day. Although if we are looking at promotion aspirations, I think goal difference is going to be a key. I think the amount of goals that we've conceded so far in the league this season, obviously bar Stevenage, we haven't really conceded more than 2 goals in the league game. So if we can keep it that way and keep on grabbing clean sheets, then it won't be the goals scored against us that's going to be the problem. It's the goals scored for us that's going to be the problem. It was good to see Armand and Nuble linking in the middle a little bit more yesterday. Obviously, they're both flicking onto each other and finding each other in space an awful lot, and linking up well with the wing backs and the attacking midfielders. I think Rigg, as an attacking midfielder, had a fantastic match. I think Bentosa showed signs of him coming back to his best as well, and Labardi was absolutely brilliant. He just showed exactly how important he is to us. Obviously, until he got taken off as a precaution. We've got a tough game down in Crawley, because Crawley are starting to come into their own a little bit more now. Harry Kewell's finding the formula. We'll be reunited with Warren Feeney. I always feel sorry for him, because I think he bit off a little bit more than he could chew taking on the managerial role with County. I think he needed a few more years as an assistant. Some people are just made to be a manager, like Michael Flynn, because Michael Flynn, as much as he's had a couple of coaching roles, bar the Undy job, which you can't really compare to, being a Football League manager, of course. He's never really been what you call an under pressure manager, and he took on the biggest of tasks. And I said this before. He took on a task that I don't think any manager in world football would really have wanted to try and take on, and that's to keep Newport County in the Football League, whilst 11 points shy of safety with 12 games left. The criticism he got at Morecambe was so unprecedented. It was so unneeded. There's absolutely no need for it at all. But like I say, people pay their money, they're entitled to an opinion. That's one thing people have to remember, that freedom of speech is a very important thing. It's something that a lot of people fought and died for. So it's not something we should be attacking. We shouldn't be attacking someone's right to speak up if they feel they need to speak up. What we should attack, though, is the content within their disgruntlement, and that is, fair enough, they were poor at Morecambe, but then if you consider it before Morecambe, was it really a justified rant? I believe it was not a justified rant at all, but I would fight and die to save that person's right to be able to say it, though, because it's important that people should get their free speech. I mean, I'm coming into this with a whole abundance of free speech. I can say whatever I want. To a degree, of course. I mean, you can't go getting offensive, especially in this day and age. But, like I say, he's entitled to an opinion, but then it's my opinion then to counteract that and say, no, he didn't deserve that and you shouldn't have done it. But there we go. That's that. But what a way of bouncing back from that bad performance at Morecambe, though. I mean, with the performance we put in, we were good all over the park. There was nobody who played poorly. And the few times that they looked like they might have got in on goal, there was someone there to clean the mess up every time. And even all of the midfield and the wing backs did their job defensively as well. It was fantastic. It was absolutely great. And it's good to see Ben White as a fullback, to be honest with you, because he gets forward really well. But his defensive work is out of this world. I think he made the first little mistake that he's ever made with us, and I was quite surprised we didn't have a free kick conceded, and he didn't actually get sent off. I thought he'd fouled the guy outside the area as he tried to head it down, but as they say, it swings and roundabouts, and after what we went through last season, I think we're due a couple of dodgy calls in our favour. So as I say, swings and roundabouts. It's something I didn't believe in last season, but they're being a bit fairer this year, the referees are, and I don't think Coggins had a particularly good game yesterday. I think he made a few poor calls, but the game's over now. We won. We were deserving of that win, and we all went home happy. We're in 8th place now. We're just outside the playoffs. I thought we'd hit the playoffs because the last live league table I looked at, which was about the 89th minute, we were in 5th, which is mad. There must have been a couple of late goals elsewhere, but there you go. We're definitely moving in the right direction, and on and off the pitch. Sorry, you saw what the blog I did on the Welsh Rugby Union. That's the kind of relationship we've got with our landlords now, which makes things a whole lot easier for us. We're making more money now. We got bigger crowds. Obviously, we were used to just over 2,000. We're now looking at 3,000 to 3,500. We've got 1,000 fans back. We sold 1,200 season tickets. Disabled supporters. Now, this is something that I'm going to do. I'm going to dedicate an entire blog to this, because Colin Faulkner was good enough to send me a very informative message with an awful lot of content in there with regards to the Welsh Rugby Union and the fact. Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, I can tell you now. Actually, they're looking to form a disabled community, a disabled supporters community between the 3 teams, so they can work together to improve the experience for all fans of football and rugby. There's an awful lot of work going into that, and Colin Faulkner has done an awful lot for the club to improve the disabled supporters' experience. Because to be honest with you, when we first got over to Rodney Parade, disabled supporters just weren't catered for at all. But now, I mean, it's just getting better than ever. I mean, separate car parking spaces. There's actual areas for fans with wheelchairs to actually get a good view of the game. Instead of most of the time, they're usually right at the floor. And right on the floor, right on pitch side, isn't necessarily always the best view. Now, from one of the corners, elevated a fair bit, you get a much wider view. And that particular area is great. There's blankets for the cold for people, disabled supporters. There's just so much good work going into it all. Like I said, I mean, I will keep touching upon this in future blogs, but fair play. A good word has got to go to Colin Faulkner and Claire Faulkner and the rest of the guys in the DSA for the work that they've been doing, and fair play to the club and the Welsh Rugby Union for the liaison with these guys and helping them do what they do best, and that's making things better for the disabled supporters, because it's so important that we cater for everybody's needs. And in some cases disabled supporters, it's a difficult situation to cater for them, and the better prepared you are for that, the better it's going to be for them. And that's why you got to think of it as their experience, because they're paying to get the same experience as everybody else, so their needs have to be met, and it's as simple as that. So I've got to say fair play to Colin Faulkner for that, and his team. They're absolute credit to the club. To follow on from that, though, another credit to the club that unfortunately we haven't been able to hold on to is James Watts. He had his surprise meal at TGI Fridays today. I couldn't afford to go, unfortunately. Sorry, James, but I'm sure me and my bullshit what it exactly missed from that occasion. But 5 years overseeing such change, such negative stuff going on, such positive stuff going on too. He oversaw our promotion from the conference as commercial manager, and a lot of the money that he was able to bring in some of those players that got us promoted. And that's one thing you've got to remember. And before people start giving Les Scadding all the praise for us getting promoted, some people have to think of James Watts as well, because what he's achieved for this club is absolutely unbelievable. Dropping things, to clean up a mess an awful lot, breaking his ankle to put boards up. I mean, having to run a shop as well, having to help run a ticket office. You're helping running the club from top to bottom when you only got one title. And he always said to me that other clubs have 2 or 3 people in a team doing his job. Where not only was he doing his job, but he was doing a lot of other jobs within, and he was practically running the club by himself on an awful lot of occasions. So a big, massive thank you has to go out to him for the work that he's done for this club. And I just hope if his replacement is half as good as Watsy, then the club's going to be in good hands on a commercial side. So you deserve an awful lot of praise, mate. Well done. And all the best at Hereford. They've got an absolute brilliant person who knows his football, not just his commercial and business side, but he knows his football side. And as a general manager, you're going to absolutely smash it. So that's where we'll leave it. Nearly 14 minutes of me rabbling on about stuff. County are on the up. Everybody's happy. And we're turning Rodney Parade into a fortress. We've got to be really, really pleased with ourselves right now. So, happy days. Right? Thanks again for watching, everybody. And until the next time, cheerio for now. And, of course, up the county.